I promised we'd get back to him. TJ Watt, we've
Mhm.
going to continue. BetOnline has him as the favorite as the defensive player of the year thus far this season. I think
Mhm.
that is warranted. The key with the Steelers is going to be his success off the edge because he sets the tone for this entire defense. And Ike, I just hope he can continue to play at a high level. And I'm hoping that he can show out for his former teammate, your former teammate, James Harrison, who's going into the Steelers Ring of Honor during this game. So I hope he can provide a proper tribute to one of the NFL's most intimidating defensive players that we've ever seen.
Yeah, God willing, I'll be there for my dog, Debo. But at the same time, that's TJ, man. Like when you have depth at the outside linebacker position, you ain't really got to press or keep TJ in the game all the time. TJ's able between Herbert and who my other outside
Marcus
linebacker?
Golden,
Yeah,
Alex Highsmith. It's almost like, really quickly, it's almost like a designated hitter in baseball where we don't need him to play the field, but we need him to deliver when it's his time to step up to the plate.
Yeah, he's able to get rest. I feel I like when TJ on the sideline sometimes and he getting a drink of water because he's able to come off the field because he knows a backup or two that's gonna come in and get a series and him stay fresh. I like it. I like the depth that we have at the outside linebacker position. So for me, that's exactly what I want as a coach. Like I'm checking the temperature. So TJ feels good now. If he needs a break, he understands he got two people behind him that can come in and not miss a beat. I mean, they're not TJ Watt, but at the same time, TJ like, hey, let me get Golden, let me get Herbert, let them two boys get some of this burn right quick. Let me catch a break. For me, that's good. So now TJ don't feel like he have to do anything extra or spectacular. Now TJ can just play, and sometimes when you catching a break, you're able to see what the offense is doing or trying to do. And once you give a guy like TJ, once he gets in the rhythm and he's able to get on one knee, catch a break, catch his water, and check the temperature on the field from a coaching standpoint, but he's a player, he's like, okay, this is what they're trying to do. Next series, I'm gonna make my move on this play if coach put me in this coverage, or I'm gonna wind up doing this move on this tackle, or if the tight end is trying to chip me, I'm gonna wind up splitting between him and the tight. Like he gets to see things differently now. So that's what I like, the depth at our outside linebacker position is letting TJ be TJ and for him not to force. We're not forcing TJ to be something he's not, which he's ET. Um, but at the same time, I like that TJ is now getting the rest he needs because he know when he needs to come in and make a play, he's going to be able to make that play.
Yeah, when we were at the game against the Ravens, the thing I noticed in person, you mentioned leaving the field. He had the dislocated finger. He comes out for a few plays, goes back in, which is just remarkable. It's something he'll
Right.
need surgery on in the offseason.
Right.
But in the first half of that game, I noticed he was extremely wide in his splits in trying to defend the passing lanes of Lamar Jackson. And when we
Right.
had Daniel Wilcox on, he says, when you're defending Lamar, it's almost like in kickoff coverage where you've got a lane to fill. And if you don't fill that lane, and if you get out of your lane, that's where Lamar is going to exploit you with his scrambling ability. The adjustment I noticed he made in the second half was his splits weren't as wide as they were in the first half. You go back and watch the tape of that one, and that's something where it's like I noticed that in person of an adjustment that he and the Steelers defense made. And I don't exactly remember when he had his 2 sacks in that game against the Ravens, but I would be willing to bet good money that they came in the second half of that game. And it was just an adjustment that he made when, hey, we're off the field. Hey, we're going to try to do things a little bit differently and maybe be a little bit more aggressive against Lamar, given what the Steelers needed at that point in the game to actually win the ball game as well. But TJ Watt, I mean, again, Fred Warner, I think, can be in the discussion, but everyone else is in second or third place when it comes to the Defensive Player of the Year awards, at least in my opinion, as it stands right now. Go ahead, Ike.
Hey, shout out to Terry for coming up with the question too. Shout out Terry too for tuning in with Mark and I live. But Mark, I mean,
Terry likes your E.T. Watt reference, Ike.
hey, for sure, appreciate it. I mean, TJ, he's a mix. He's a mix of every position. We've never seen an outside linebacker with that mixture all in one. So we've never seen 85 and a half tackles, over 40 something pass deflections, 7 interceptions, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. When you put up them stats, you thinking defense. You're not thinking one person. When you say 41 pass deflections, when you say 85 and a half something sacks, when you say 10 forced fumbles, when you say 7 interceptions, when you say over 20 something calls fumbles, we ain't even talking about pressures. When you saying them stats, you thinking like, oh, this a heck of a defense. Nah, dog, we talking about TJ. Oh, you just talking about one person. Yeah, we just talking about one person. So it blows my mind how instinctive TJ, that close on the line of scrimmage, Mark. That close on the line of scrimmage. His production.
Hey, Ike, when did you realize he was special, TJ? I mean, you could point to the consistency, but at what point we were like, this is just different what we're watching here?
I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, TJ was getting against the Ravens. TJ was getting triple team and just broke through the triple team. And this is at the end of the game. Broke through the triple team, got the sack, forced the fumble, sealed the deal for Pittsburgh to win the game.
Are you thinking of the Seahawks game? Because that's the memory I have in my mind, Ike. And we used to do the Taylor Talk film recaps. That's the one where late in the game against Geno Smith, that's the play I'm thinking of. And if this happened against the Ravens.
I'm not. TJ got so many good plays. Like we can talk about TJ for this whole damn show, Mark. But yeah, I know which one you talking about because that's when Geno and them came to Heinz Field and TJ closed that thing out. I remember that play. But yeah, we can talk about plenty of plays with TJ. But TJ just, you really can't put your hand on it, man. The dude just, that's why I call him ET. He's just different. When statistically, off of the stats we was just talking about, you looking at it, you thinking that's a whole defense. No, this is just one person, but it's just mind blowing, Mark, because he's at the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have them kind of stats. Well, you do have if your name is TJ Watt, but usually you don't have them kind of stats as a player from an outside linebacker / DN if we play in the 4-3. They don't. All they have is forced fumbles, pressures, sacks,
tackles for loss. But yeah.
TFL. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add a few more categories.
Mm-hmm.
Over 41 pass deflections, 7 interceptions, 1 to the crib.
See, the pass deflections, Ike, or if he passes you up, I can see respectful jealousy, in all honesty. It's just
man, listen. I hope he passed me up. off the subject. Me and DC is Dan Colbert, Kevin Colbert's son, former GM.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's close to 40,000 kids who play Division 1, 2, or 3 football, right? Only 250 something get drafted, right? Out of 40,000, only 250 something get drafted. And depending on the position, say like if you play center, between 8 to 12 of y'all get drafted, 4 might make it in 4 years out of 40,000. So TJ passed me up for sure because ain't too many of us playing that game anyway. It's a needle in the haystack So say, but yeah, that was off. That was off. That was off script. That was off topic. But I
All,
was just
all I'm
thinking.
saying, all I'm saying, Ike, is the statistical output. And you mentioned this last week, and I think in previous weeks. It's something you might expect from a defensive back, maybe a linebacker. But for a defensive back or linebacker, they're not putting up the sack totals. They're not putting up the tackles for loss. They're not putting up the forced fumbles and the fumble recoveries from quarterbacks. You get all of the above with TJ Watt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even say pass deflections with inside linebackers. You say pass deflections with corners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you say 41 pass deflections, you was like, man, what corner we talking about? No, we talking about a outside linebacker. Damn. Who? TJ. Y'all already know who we talking about. We talking about TJ, man. So the dude he impressive and he different. And every time you need a play, holla at TJ.
We're going to the moon with him, Mike. We're going to the moon with him and ET. Every time you say that, it makes me laugh. I absolutely love it.